I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my creative healing course is filled with hours of exclusive content. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about, do we have different paths?
Okay.
It's a scary question, Margaret.
Yes, it's also a good question for couples to ask.
You know, oftentimes when we get into a relationship, we just kind of assume it's going to be forever.
We do. And our unconscious, by the way, thinks that all relationships should be forever and is always quite upset with us when they're not.
Yes. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. And there are many times where we have different goals or different ideas about our future than our partner does. And so it sometimes leads to a split in the path and people wanting to go in different directions.
Yeah.
Okay? And, you know, Margaret, one thing that I see a lot is sometimes one person will be adamant about wanting something in the relationship and the other person something different. Mm-hmm. And this person tries to pressure you, tell you what they want, this is what I need, for a long time, and eventually they say, okay, I can't do this anymore.
I give up.
You want something different, I want this thing, and you don't want it. And then, of course, this person's like, no, but I do want that now. I'm ready to, I do want those things too. Yeah. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
We don't realize how important our partner's views and needs are until they leave us.
Right.
And you got to train yourself to realize that in a relationship. When you're with somebody, your partner's needs are just as valid and as important as yours. And if you continue to act selfish, they're going to go down that different path.
Yep.
I see it a lot.
And if you were deprived as a child and none of your needs were met, it's very hard to think clearly about all this, which is why we recommend self-reflection and all sorts of other things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I got a good email coaching today, and this is from a guy who is in his mid-30s, and he was dating a woman that was slightly younger for over 5 years.
That's a long time.
Yep, and they were living together for several.
I hate to hear this.
He says, we were happy, but had big problems around communication. I think we both suffer from anxious attachment. We're going to look at that and see. Because we're going to, in my experience, I don't see a lot of two people together that have an anxious attachment style. Do you?
No, I don't. The most common is avoidant and attachment, right?
Avoidant and anxious.
Yeah.
We'd also broken up once before for 3 months, but had agreed to reconcile. I don't recall a conversation about attachment styles or communication. It was more about the loss, mutual desire to fix it, and the promise to do better. When I hear that, Margaret, I mean, I doubt most people don't know what attachment styles even are until they come to our channel. Right? So it's not like it's commonly discussed. But what I hear, I don't know if you're getting this vibe, is that she was talking to him about what her frustrations were, and he was expressing his desire to fix it.
Probably. Men are the fixers. Yeah.
He said, we both wanted marriage, but had different paths. She believed we could build something together whenever we wanted. I wanted to wait for financial and professional security. I see this a lot. Do you?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And I already could see where this is going to go.
Yes, we can.
Right? I'm going to just keep going, and we'll get to this. I'd been dislodged from a good career in my mid-20s, had another failed job, and then was unemployed for a year. so success and stability were important. It became impossible to talk about because it was so sensitive. I was also scared to death of fighting, thinking it would lead us to break up.
Oh dear.
I always looked for compromise or a band-aid situation to stop the fighting and restore the status quo.
So he was very discouraged about his professional whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. She broke up with me last fall, saying she felt like a prisoner who didn't have a say in her own future because she had to follow my schedule. And I thought that was a really profound thing for her to say.
I think so too. Yeah.
Because I don't think I've ever heard somebody explain it like that.
Right. And he's saying this has got to be in my time frame, on my, according to my plan. And she finally said, no, this is not negotiated. This is,
And it's just like the example I gave up front where the person is saying, I want this path, and this person's saying, no, 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 until they leave, and now he's probably like, yeah, I'm all about that path. I'll be happy to get married on your terms.
Yep.
It's so frustrating because people are constantly finding themselves in that spot.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying, is that you have to recognize that when you get into a relationship either with your ex or new people, that their path or their idea of the way it should go should be something you're always thinking about.
Right.
And people just don't train themselves to think like that.
No, they don't.
She said she loved me, but couldn't wait any longer.
It's been 5 years, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was upset because it felt like she didn't understand and support my goals or needs. But I knew deep down I'd neglected her needs too. The stress had affected us emotionally and physically, and we struggled with sex for months beforehand.
Oh.
Well, she probably was so frustrated
With him, yeah.
that she was just not wanting to be close to him and angry and just fed up with the whole
Yep.
situation. We lived together for another month after the breakup while she found a new place. Toward the end, I asked her to consider counseling, which we'd talked about but never done. How many people have done that?
A lot of people have done that.
She agreed, but still moved out.
Oh, I see. That was his last-ditch attempt
Yeah.
to get her to unpack those boxes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
In December, I found counseling options, but she had asked to start working on it ourselves. In January, we sent long emails to each other about shortcomings and wants. I committed to embracing open, trusting communication. In February, we started seeing each other for weekly dinners. In March, she asked to see more hustle, but didn't define it. So it sounds like she felt like he really wasn't putting as much
He thought this
effort.
status quo of once a month was terrific.
Yeah. Or well, weekly dinners.
Oh,
They were
weekly
doing
dinners,
weekly, yeah.
yeah. But still.
March, April, May, quarantine.
Oh, God.
We had weekly Skype calls, and my occasional questions about progress seemed to get positive answers. June and July, we took long walks and were apparently happy, but I started to become the initiator. August, I asked, and she revealed that her feelings had been changed. She couldn't see me as a partner anymore. She hadn't known how to tell me and didn't want to hurt me.
Oh, my.
You know what's coming, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Late September, I asked to meet again, and she revealed she'd been seeing someone for at least 2 months. I'm sure he was shocked.
I'm sure he was.
She said she'd been willingly ignorant about our status and thought we were slipping into a warm friendship. She didn't tell me in August because she didn't want to hurt me more. She felt regret and cried both times, but said we were done as romantic partners. I'm devastated by the omissions, but love her and want her back. What should I do? I've been in contact for 11 days.
I've been in contact or no contact?
No contact.
I've been no contact for 11
Did I
days.
say in contact? No contact. 11 days.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on this one, Margaret?
I think it's too bad because I think they had something nice. And I think she waited too long. What do you think?
To say something?
Well, no, well, she may have done that too, but I don't think he quite understood that she wasn't going to wait forever.
I think her hint was that there wasn't enough hustle.
Yeah.
And at that point, she was already frustrated.
Yeah.
And because she made that comment, so that didn't come out of nowhere. So she was probably thinking, I mean, and that was in what month? March?
Yeah.
Or February? No, March, that's right. That she wanted to see more hustle. And he didn't get the hint
No, he didn't.
that it was, you better step up because I'm getting tired of this dragging out.
And it may have been that the once a week was working for him. I'm not sure he's anxious, are you?
I don't think he's anxious.
I'm wondering if he's avoidant.
That's,
Yeah.
what I think as well.
Yeah. Which is why he was perfectly happy with that status quo.
Mm-hmm.
And she thought to herself, you're not even fighting to get me back and move on with this.
She was looking for the hustle.
Yeah.
Is he really going to show me
Yeah.
that he's changed, that this is going to go the way that I want, that this is going to lead to something meaningful?
Yeah.
And I think it was just like the weekly Skype calls and no romance.
Yeah.
The connection was fading. Right. He didn't realize it. And I think she probably just kept feeling more and more disconnected from him,
Right.
to the point where she just said, maybe, I don't know how she met this other guy. We don't know.
No.
She may have met him on a dating site, maybe met him at work. Who knows?
Yeah.
We have no idea. But it had been a while.
It had been a long while.
They split up in the fall of last year. And, they were only doing weekly Skype calls in the spring for about 3 months. And I don't know what was going on in June and July. He said long walks.
Yeah.
But maybe it wasn't really progress for her.
It sounds to me exactly like that it wasn't progress for her, it wasn't enough for her, and that he was still comfortable with distance here.
Yeah. And so I think she just got tired.
I think so too.
I think she got tired and she started to chat with somebody else who was giving her maybe more attention.
Yep.
And wanted to see where it goes. And I think she cares about him because she didn't want to hurt him.
Oh, I think she does too. But 5 years is a long time.
5 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But right now, she's not seeing him as a partner because she's thinking about this other person as a partner.
Right.
And so that's what she's exploring.
Mm-hmm.
And, at this point, he's got to leave her alone.
Yes, he does. As painful as that is.
And you better take a closer look at your attachment issues because, obviously he's learning and he knows what the attachment styles are, but I think he's getting confused about his own attachment issues in the relationship.
I don't think he has any idea that he's avoidant. And things might have been different if he did understand that.
Yeah.
And if he could have said, am I doing other things to keep her at a distance?
Yeah.
And it never seems to have occurred to him that she would eventually get fed up enough to leave. I think he's shocked.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he thought he was doing enough along this year, and that it was, for her, it was just like, this is not going anywhere.
Right.
So I don't think that she, purposely went to find someone else.
I don't get that sense either. She was pretty committed to
We don't have a lot of info,
Yeah.
but my gut is that it just had faded almost into nothingness for those months during quarantine, and then just walks together, and I don't know if they were going on dates and having romance. It didn't sound like
It
it.
didn't sound like it.
But I think it was just not enough.
Right. And she thinks she gave him enough time to come around.
So
She hung in there for quite a while.
I think that, right now she's excited about the newness of this new relationship and wants to see where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere. And
No,
I'm
it
willing to bet that after, if it doesn't work out with this new guy, which it probably won't, she'll start looking at him again and wanting to see, is this really going to be different? Because I really don't want to get back into another
Right.
5-year, this isn't going anywhere
Yeah.
on your terms, where I feel like, what did she say, a hostage?
She did put that very well. She was involved, she was getting no say in her own future because it was all going to happen on his schedule.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like it was going on for a year. I mean, it was 5 years.
5 years. Yeah.
She felt like a prisoner.
Yeah.
And didn't have any say in her own future.
Yeah. Very well put.
And who could blame her?
Who could blame her?
I agreed with it. The minute I read it, I was like, wow.
And it sounds like if they tried to discuss it, he gave her all that logical stuff about how he had to have his profession straightened out and he had to have the right job and so forth and so on.
Yeah. I do think that there's a high probability she'll reach out to him.
Yeah, I think
and
so too.
want to see what's going on. I do think she genuinely cares about him. But he better really show
I was going
changes.
to say, he better have something to report.
Yeah, and it better be significant.
Yeah.
A lot more significant than the progress he thought you made in those 6 months, because that was not nearly enough for her.
I can tell you what sells the best. Get into therapy.
Yep.
Although when he offered before, she didn't want to do it.
But it was probably too late at that point.
It was probably too late at that point, yeah.
It had been years of her asking.
Right.
And so that wasn't enough to keep her. She was still in it, but I think it was just not quite enough.
Mm-hmm.
But work on yourself, work through your own issues, figure out what you have to do to be a better partner. Of course, if you want to do a call with Margaret or myself, we can look further at it. That's what we're here for, and see where it goes.
And realize that you're avoidant. It will help you look at this.
But I do think there's a good chance she's going to revisit this before she moves forward again.
And she hung in for a long time. She must care about him.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Tough situation.
But he better have some concrete answers.
And it better be significant.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. Hopefully you found this email helpful and the video helpful. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. And of course, Margaret is here for Skype coaching.
If you feel that I can be helpful, please sign up.
Just click on Margaret on the top of the website to do that. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon.